Hello and welcome to my journey for cooking some American favorites. We go through lots of things in this series, from brisket to pancakes, and today we're doing donuts. So stay with me whilst we try this American favorite. Now, to be clear, this is not a cooking channel. Whilst there may be some instruction here on how to do this yourself, these recipes are from other people. They are some of my favorite recipes that I've learnt since being here. For the dough, we're going to use 2 cups and a bit of all-purpose flour, 3 tablespoons of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon nutmeg. Now, I've made this before by putting extra nutmeg, and for this, less is more when it comes to nutmeg. It has a very strong profile. We're using 1 egg, about half a cup of milk, 1/3 a stick of melted butter, so that's about 40 grams, and we also have 1 packet of dried yeast. The method is really simple. In a bowl, we're going to combine the dry ingredients, so that's the flour, the nutmeg, the sugar and the salt. We're going to mix that all together, and in a separate bowl we're going to mix the milk, the egg, the butter and the yeast. Now, I've warmed the milk up to just shy of 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Don't make the mistake I first made and heat this to 100 degrees Celsius. That is not good for the yeast. We're not adding extra sugar to this milk mix, so the yeast won't start to come alive. However, it will activate the yeast if it's warm. We're going to combine the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients together, and we're going to do this in a nice easy KitchenAid with the dough hook. You can do this by hand over the bench, but it's going to take you a good 10 minutes to work that dough. If you're going to use a stand mixer with the dough hook, medium-high for about 3 to 4 minutes, and that's good. When you've done that 3 minutes, you're going to bring it out of the bowl and give it a small knead on the bench. Work that dough a little bit more and put it into a greased bowl. Now we're going to do that so it doesn't stick to the bowl. Well, obviously that's why we grease things, right? After we've put the dough into the bowl, we're going to leave that to stand for 2 hours. Now it will rise in the process. I put my dough in a non-heated oven. We're not trying to bake it, but the oven is a little bit warmer than kitchen that we're working in. After 2 hours, we're going to roll out the dough to about 1 inch thickness, give or take, but we want to roll it out so we can get between 7 and 9 portions cut. So once we've rolled it out so we can get those portions that we're looking for, then we're going to cut our donuts out using a donut cutter or something similar. I'm just using a small dish here to give me a round shape. After we've cut them out, we're going to put them onto some parchment paper and let them rise again. Now this is the part where we should brush them with melted butter, and that keeps them moist. It stops it from getting dry. However, I'd already used all my butter, so I had none left for this. But if we let these rise again for another 45 minutes, we should start seeing the proper donut shape, or at least the thickness that we're looking for. After about 45 minutes of rising, we're going to preheat our air fryer to around 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Now we want the air fryer already at that temperature. We don't want to start it cold. And so once the fryer has preheated, we're going to gently place the donuts into the grease basket and cook for another 3 minutes. We're going to cook for 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, when we take the donuts out, we're going to toss the donuts in the glaze. Or another option which I like to do, which I've done before but not today, is brush them again with melted butter and then put them in a cinnamon sugar. Whilst they're still hot, of course, they are delicious. For the glaze, we've got 2 cups of powdered sugar, 2/3 a stick of butter, about 75 grams, 3 to 5 tablespoons of milk. However, this is dependent on how thick or thin we're going to make the glaze. Use your better judgment for that. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now, I didn't have enough butter for this. I'd used all my butter for making the cookies earlier on. So I had less than 1/3 of a stick of butter. I also had no additional melted butter to coat the dough or the donuts when they came out of the fryer. And if you have that, it helps keeping the donuts moist.